Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rich. Today on this video, we're going to be bringing in some countries into our Diving Log 6.0. I think this is pretty cool. I think it should be pretty beneficial to you, save you a little bit of time, and hopefully this will help you out a little bit. We're going to be going through Microsoft Access, Excel, Diving Log 6.0, obviously, and a little bit of the command prompt. So that being said, let's get to it. So we're gonna be doing this. So we're gonna bring in Diving Log 6.0 so I can show you a little bit what we're talking about here. Um, so you'll notice that when you come up here into details, you're gonna have a country section. And I have a couple countries, and the problem here is it takes a while. There's something like 250 countries, and it takes a while, to insert them manually into here. You could import them from Divelog Exchange or whatnot, but we're going to be doing it a little bit differently today. We're going to be going through the access channel, and we're going to be going through sort of the back end and kind of uploading them that way. And so right now what we can do is we can add a new country, and what we see here is we can add a currency, an exchange rate, GMT difference, which is the time zone, and we can select a flag, and then we have comments that we can write in for each of the countries that we go to, and then we have the dives that are associated with the country. And so which is fine. A lot of people like to just enter the countries manually. That's perfectly okay. But in the interest of me saving time, what I like to do and what I want to do is I want to have every single country that there is already uploaded into the Diving Log 6.0. So um, there's a couple different ways that we can do that. I mentioned before, one of them is import. But we're going to be doing it like this. So we're going to be starting with the flag, okay? Because every single country has a flag, obviously. So what we want to do is we want to get all those flags into the access, into our program. And so we can, let's see right here. So a basic Google search brings us to this site, which I think is pretty helpful. This is probably the most helpful kind of site that I've seen with all the flags. Let me go back here. So flagpedia.net/download. And we see that there's a couple different options for you. Right now, we want to pick up the bitmap images available in PNG, JPEG, and WebP. We could do the vector images if we wanted to. It's probably a little bit bigger, but for our purposes, we don't need anything more than the bitmap. So you can go ahead and download that. And when you do, it's going to bring you into, it's going to have a zip folder. So in my downloads, I have here w2560-zip. And so here's a little trick in the interest of saving time. If you click that, extract all, we want to extract it into our flag folder. So diving log 6.0, right? It's got, it's going to look different for you, but these are my files that I have in diving log 6.0. And the images are right here. So the pictures are right here. If we open them up, we're going to have a database of all of our images that are in Diving Log 6.0. And Diving Log 6.0 points to this flags images right here. So right now my folder is empty. I don't have any flags. But this is the folder that you want to extract all of the images into, is the flags folder, because that's where it's going to be looking for the image of the flag. So in the interest of saving time, what you can do is once you download that file, extract all, and then we're going to browse for that folder. So I'm going to, if I can find it, documents, diving log, and then pictures, then flags. Okay, so we are going to import the pictures here. So flags, select folder, and it's going to import the images into that flags folder. So we're going to extract them, and then it's going to take a minute or two or whatnot. Okay, and then so we see here we have all the images of each country, which is great. You know, there's about 254 items, so 254 countries we're going to import right now into DivingLog 6.0. And you know, we could just kind of scroll down a little bit, take a look at the flags, and this is great. Um, could be a little bit better um, because okay, so what is this? What we're looking at right now is just two letters .png for all the files, right? That's not very helpful to me because I have no idea what half of these countries are. Completely lost when it comes to any of these countries. But we're going to change that. And what we're going to do right now is just to have a little bit of fun, we're going to pick one specific flag and we're going to follow this flag along the journey from getting the flag into importing all the information into DivingLog 6.0. So I saw a flag before that I really want to do because I don't know anything about this country, don't know what it is, but I really like the flag. And so we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Gotta find it again. Um, there it is. I just think this is really cool. There's a ship on it and water, so I'm assuming that there's wrecks somewhere in this country. So we're going to follow this along the journey. So right now it's pm dash or .png. Okay, so that's the file name, which isn't very helpful to us because I have, again, like I said, no idea what pm.png is, what country that is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the names of the countries or change names of the files to match the countries. And we're going to do that with ChatGPT. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go up here. We're going to select this and we're going to go into the command prompt. So CMD, enter. And it's going to bring us into our directory of this specific file folder. And so what we want to do is we want to look up the bin. So we're going to look up the directory. So dir space \b should bring us the names of the files, right? So we have all the names of the files right here. And this is kind of the old school way to do it. There's much easier, well, not so much easier ways. There's different ways to do it now. This is just the command prompt. It's going to be your, like, I guess, easiest way, if that makes sense, you know, if without learning a lot of the newer stuff, because remember, you know, technology kind of advances or whatnot, and so we have things like Power Automate, which is going to make things a lot easier, but there is a learning curve with that. So this is pretty much the easiest way to do it. And so that being said, you know, this is one way to do it. There are other ways to do it again, but so this is just one way, and I think this is the easiest. So what we want to do is we want to copy all these. So just go up here and give it a second. Okay, so we have this, and what we want to do is control copy for copying. We don't want to right click it because if we right click it, it's going to deselect everything. For some reason, the command prompt doesn't doesn't recognize the mouse. Okay, so we have the file names, the ad.png. So we have we just have the names of the PNGs. So what we want to do is we want to change them, right? So we want to change them to the specific country that we have or that we're going to be, that's associated with that flag. And there's a couple different ways that we can change them in the directory of the folder using ChatGPT. So I'm going to pull up ChatGPT right now. Okay, so we're in ChatGPT, and I want to say something like, okay, hey ChatGPT. Well, you don't have to say hello because it's a machine, but change the file names, or okay, let's start this over again. Associate the file names that I paste with their corresponding countries. Okay. Period. Control V. Enter. Okay. So we have all of the names associated with the countries. And we want to copy that. Copy. Okay, so we copy that to our clipboard. And what the command prompt wants to see is something like this. So in order to change these, what we need to do is we need to run a script here. Get rid of that. Okay. We're going to open up Excel. And I already have these. So this is what the text is going to sort of look like when it's done. Or this is what the file is going to look like sort of when it's done. So we have the old names here. We have the extensions. We have the new names with extensions. Then we have a parentheses, and then that's a space, and then old names with quotation marks, new names with quotation marks, ren code file path. So the command prompt wants to see something like this: ren space quotation marks rename. Ren stands for rename. So quotation marks ad.png quotation marks space quotation marks andorra.png quotation marks. So rename ad.png to this, to andorra.png. Okay. So what we do here is, I already filled this part out yet, but I'm going to do this with you just from scratch. So we can delete this here. Okay, so the new names we have, ChatGPT gave us the new names, so we're going to paste them into this, that right there. There we go. We are going to get the old names again, so let's go back here and get the old names. So again, we're going to select all of these, control copy, and then we're going to control V. Okay, and they have an extension. So what we're going to do is in this first column right here, we are going to get the .png. So they're all .png. So all you need to do is copy all the .pngs down all the way. But we can do it a different way if there's different file types. For example, Control H, which is going to be find what is going to be anything before the period. Replace with the period. So it's basically just going to look like that. Okay. But it didn't do it in this column. So Control H. What we can do is we can copy them and paste them here. So what we're gonna do is this. So we're gonna paste them here, okay? And then what we're gonna do now, okay, is press Control H, and then we are going to replace all. Okay, all done. We made 254 replacements, so we are good there. So we have the old name, ad.png, the file extension in case it was different, Andorra, United Arab Emirates, all that kind of stuff, the new names that we have, new names with extensions. So what we want to do here is, hit equals, the new name, and the extension. And then we have that. What we can do here then is copy this down. It'll let me. Sometimes you gotta. There we go. Okay. So now we have the new names with the extensions. And then we will. Okay, so the next column we have is going to be a quotation mark. It's just going to be a regular quotation mark. So what we're going to do is we are going to just hit quotation mark, and then we are going to copy this all the way down like that. This is going to be a space, so you're not going to be able to see it, but in the first the second one, the second row, or the selection here, what we're going to do is we're going to space. So we're going to have a space here. So you don't see it, but there is a space. And then we're going to just copy that all the way down. Okay, so old name with quotation mark. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit equal the quotation mark and old name. So old name here and quotation mark. So we have the old name with quotation mark, and we're going to copy that down. Okay, so we have that. Let's just. Okay. Old name with quotation mark, which we need for the code. And then what we're going to do here, new name with quotation mark. So we're going to do the same exact thing, equals quotation mark and new name with extension and quotation mark. Enter. Okay, so we have the old name, the new name with quotation mark. We're going to copy this down like we did before. So we have the new name with quotation mark. And that code that we're going to type in starts with ren for rename. So REN, and then copy that all the way down. And then the code reads like this. And so equals rename and space. This is where the space comes in. And space and old name with quotation marks and another space and new name with quotation marks. Enter. So we have rename ad.png to andorra.png. Okay. And we are going to copy this down. And so that's how you get the code. And we have this selected already. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy everything. We're going to minimize this, and I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm going to do this and try to do this in real time for you. Okay, go to the command prompt. So we have it copied, Control V. It just says that it's going to be a lot of stuff to copy or paste, and we're going to paste it anyway. And pay attention to the flags. Aha, so we did something wrong. What did we do wrong here? So we're going to look here. Okay, so what did we do wrong? Okay, so let's escape here and reselect it. Let's reselect it. Reselect. If I can get everything. Aha, so it didn't copy everything. Why didn't it copy everything? Because it ended at Fiji. And why did it end at Fiji? So we'll go back to ChatGPT. So it did it in a batch. So it ended at Fiji, which is it's just ChatGPT. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, give me all the names in one batch. Okay, so I can do that, but it can't fit all 250 names in a single response. Okay, so give me batch 2. Okay, so from the Falkland Islands to Mozambique. All right, so we're going to copy that. We are going to go back into Excel and we are going to start here with the Falkland Islands and we're going to paste. Paste. Come on. Okay, now it changed everything. So we're going to have to do this in batches because there's 254 countries. So it's going to be quite a big list. So the next one is going to be batch 3, na.png. So we're going to go back to Chat GPT and we're going to get the third batch. Give me batch 3. Okay, so Namibia should be to Mozambique. Okay, so copy this. Maybe it's only going to do 3 batches then. So we're going to go back. We copied batch 3. We're going to go back into Excel and we are going to go here, paste. And that should give us all of our countries. And just to verify, we're going to go all the way down. And yes, it gave us all of the countries. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go copy all of these. Start at the top. I don't know why my mouse keeps on doing this, but it's kind of annoying. And so we're going to start here, copy everything. And this is kind of the process. It's kind of like iterative that you have to, especially with ChatGPT, because sometimes it's kind of stupid. So you really have to be specific and kind of like listen to what it has to say. So we copied everything here, and now I'm going to go back, and I am going to go, and I might not do it for the first couple ones because remember, it probably did it already. So we're going to Control V. Come on, Control V. Okay, it's not doing it. Why isn't it doing it? It's because it's stupid, that's why. Copy. Control V. There we go. I guess it has to be selected in Excel. I don't know. Okay, so here's just a preview of the code that it's writing in the command prompt. So we're going to paste anyway, and then forgot this part. Okay, so now it renamed all of the the flags, which is okay. It's a little process, it's iterative, like I said before. It's kind of a process, but at least it did it for us, and now we know which flags they are. And here's our flag that we're following: Saint Pierre and Miquelon. Don't know where that is. Never even heard of it. Saint Pierre, but looks like a fantastic spot to dive just based on the flag. So okay, we have the flags here now, and they all were renamed. And like I said before, there's other ways to do this. Specifically, Power Automate. It does it much. I guess there's a better process. I think it's a better process or whatnot, but there is a learning curve because it's a software that you have to learn or whatnot, and there's just it's I don't know. So I just like it that way. It's simple. So rather than learning all of Power Automate, just do the command prompt, and it's pretty easy. And if I didn't explain it correctly, or if you weren't following along, there's also other videos on how to rename files in the command prompt. So okay, so we have our flags. They're renamed, with the exception of I don't know why that one's not renamed. Why is that one not renamed? Why is that one not renamed? Go back here. Okay. That is Andorra. It's the first one. It should be renamed. But okay, so we're just going to go in here and manually rename it because we know it's Andorra because it's the first one. And so rather than go through that whole process, we're just going to rename it here in the interest of saving time. Andorra. I think there's one R. One R. Two R's. Andorra. Andorra. Andorra the Explorer. Okay, so why there's what the hell? Okay. Bear with me again because I have no idea why it's doing this. Why is that flag something other than what it should be? And what is it? Let's go back up here and check out why. ad.png. It's ad.png. Does it say what country that is on an actual picture? Let's see. Desire the right. It looks like it's. All right, we're gonna ask ChatGPT. What does desire the right in the flag? It has the dish in the left corner, and a sheep with a motto saying, "Desire the right." The Falkland Islands. Those Falkland Islands. Okay. Why is it up there? And why isn't it? So let's go back to Excel and we'll go to the Falkland Islands. I have no idea why it didn't do it. fk.png. It was supposed to be fk.png. All right, so we'll just rename it the Falkland Islands. It wants to give me problems, and that's fine. We'll just give it problems back. Falkland Islands.png. Falkland Islands. And in the interest of keeping everything kosher, we're going to capitalize it. Falkland Islands.png. Fine. All right, so now it should be, everything should be fine. And yeah. So now that that kind of fiasco was kind of dealt with, we have all of our flags here. And what we want to do with these flags now is we want to bring them in to our diving log 6.0. And we also want to bring other information into diving log 6.0, but we want to base it off of the flags because these are all the flags that we have available. 254 countries is a lot of countries. So we can X that out now. We can X out of our command prompt. We can also X out of diving log 6.0 because we don't want to have this open, right? So we're going to X out of diving log 6.0. And keep in mind that logbook.mdb, that's our file, right? That's our database for our diving log 6.0. If you look at the previous video that I have about interacting diving log 6.0 with Access, Microsoft Access, I kind of go over how to integrate the two softwares. So I think that's a pretty good video too. But that being said, what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our database, open up our diving log 6.0 database. And it is here. For me, it's going to look different for you, for everybody, but here's where I have it located. It's in my diving log 6.0, so it's in documents for me, diving log, And then my database is going to be logbook.mdb. And it's always a good idea to back this up before you do anything with Microsoft Access. Always back it up. And there's a couple different ways. Maybe I should go over backing it up before I do anything else, which is always a good idea. And you can back it up a couple different ways. What I do is I save it as an SQL file, and I email that SQL file to myself, and then I have it on my cell phone. And on my cell phone, I have an app. DivingLog 6.0 has an app, which is pretty cool. It is called, it's just DivingLog, and it looks like, I don't know if you can see this. Here, let me just pull this up for you. It kind of looks like that. Can you see it? Kind of looks like that. And these are all the log dives that I have. You can't really see it. You see it? There you go. Anyway, so that's what it looks like. And so I want to back this up. And I can do that a couple different ways. I just email it to myself, but I go up to File, and then Logbook Backup. So I go down to Logbook Maintenance, Logbook Backup, and I want to number of backups I just set to 5 because I don't know, it's just a cool looking number. I have all 3 checked. Start backup, backup successful, and then I export. So I don't export, I sync. So I go up here to sync, and then I hit Android, send to device. There's a couple different options up here. You can click some of these options, but I just stick to DivingLog 6.0. I don't know what the other ones are. And then I send to device because I want to send this to my Android. And this is kind of confusing for me, so I just save it as an SQL file. And it's in my DivingLog folder, and it's going to look like logbook.sql. And I have another one over there. I have another backup that I also back up, but I just save it as logbook.sql. So I save this. You want to replace it? Yes. And then I just email it to myself. And then I open it up on my phone. In the DivingLog phone application, there's a way to import it from the files that you have. And so I just save it to my phone and I import it on my phone. So that's how you back it up. And it's always a smart idea to back up your logs, just to have multiple copies of this stuff. Because if one of them crashes, it happened to me the other day when I finished uploading that video, it crashed on me, and I had to go and search for my logbook. And so luckily I had one backed up, and so it's always a good idea, and I can't reiterate that enough, is to back up your logs. So, okay, where were we? So we're going to X that out now. And we are going to go into the Access database. Okay, so logbook.mdb, that's our Access database. So we open this up, and this is the main database that we have for Access, right? And I kind of went over it in the other video, in the previous video, but these are all of our things, all of our tables for Microsoft Access for DivingLog 6.0 that we have, and we can edit these. We can't edit the tables, we can edit the information that's in the tables, and when we edit the information that's in the tables, it will translate into DivingLog 6.0. It will change that information in there. So we are going to be, so again here, like this is a logbook, so if you open this table up, here's all your logs, and you can change all the information. Don't ever change the title of the table or any of these up here in this first row. And each record needs to have a key associated with it, and this specific record, the ID is the key. So in order for all the other tables to interact with this table, it needs to find that key. And so you're going to have a specific key that's associated with each table. That's kind of the gist of it. But anyway, so you don't want to change any of that information or any of the titles, ID number, dive date, or on any of these tables, because that will mess up your DivingLog 6.0. We can add new records to this. It's not going to mess up our diving log 6.0. That's fine. We can do that. And that's what we're going to do right now. So we can X that out. And we're going to be looking at countries because remember, we're going to be doing countries. In case I may have gotten off track a little bit, but we're going to look up our country. So this is the country table that we have so far. And remember that I had, what was it, five countries already in there and one unnamed one that we were going to do. So we have 7 records altogether, which we're going to delete these right now. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export these into Microsoft Excel because we want to have the same want to have the same structure when we re-import them back into Microsoft Access. So we're going to go to Database Tools. No, not that. External Data. Excuse me. External Data. We're going to go to External Data, and then we're going to go to Excel. And then we are going to just specify the destination file because what it's going to do is basically it's going to export them into a specific Excel document for us. And so we want to export data with formatting and layout. So we want to do that. And I'm just going to open the destination file after the export operation is complete because I just want to have it open. So because we're going to work on it. And it's going to be, this is the file path. It's going to be in my OneDrive folder and under documents, and it's going to be country.xls. XLSX. Okay, so we're going to export it. And it's going to hopefully open it up into Excel. Okay, and so what we're going to do is now we could change these things in Excel. And I just want to tidy things up a little bit because it looks kind of weird. Okay, so what we're going to try now, I don't like the way this looks, so I'm going to X this out. I'm just going to minimize that, and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to redo it. Except this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the data with the formatting and layout. I'm not going to click that. So I'm not going to click that. I'm not going to have anything clicked. It's not going to open up in a new destination folder. It's going to be in this folder, though. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to go to that folder and open it up manually. If I can figure out where it was. I totally forgot it now. Okay, so here it is. You see country.xls. We're going to open that up. And it looks the same. So that was a waste of time. So we're just going to try to like tidy this up a little bit, I guess. I don't know why it looks like this. It's not looking good. This is what it should look like. But it doesn't look like that, and I don't know why. So yeah, everything's an iterative process. This is kind of a pain. I don't know why it doesn't look like that. It should look like this. This is exactly how it should look. With your ID, your log ID, your country, your GMT, currency, currency factor, flag path, flag pick, comment, UUID, and updated. This is exactly how it should look. And I don't know why it doesn't, but so it doesn't. But we're going to be using this one in the interest of saving time. And so what I'm going to do now is you're going to go back into this Excel folder. or this Excel file. So we have a couple different Excel files. The file path to this specific flag, right? We're going to just be doing this because this is probably the most difficult part. So we're gonna be doing a file path, a flag path. So the file path is going to be where the flag is located. So if we go back here into let's see, documents, diving log, pictures, flags. And then we're just going to pick a flag, and then we're going to go to properties, and then this is our flag path. Okay, that's our location where all the flags are located. So we're going to copy this. Okay, then we're going to go back into the Excel, not into this one, into the other Excel, and we're going to copy this flag path or file path. And so we have this, and we're going to copy this down. All right. And then we are going to have the flag path. So the flag path is pretty easy. All it is the flag path with an additional slash and an additional new name. So, and again, this is in alphabetical order, new names, everything like that, new names with extension. So we want the new name with extension as the file path. Except we want to change the Falcon Islands. Remember, the Falcon Islands.png, and yeah, it looks fine. It looks like the way it looked before. So what we want to do now is go over to flag path, and we're going to hit equals, and we're going to hit file path, and then we're going to hit end quotation marks slash the new name with extension. Slash new names with extension. Ah. So here's another trick. So what we can do is hit end quotation mark, that, end quotation mark, and another end, and then enter. And there we have the flag path. So what we can do then is copy this all the way down. So we have all of our flag paths. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of these, copy, we go back into this Excel spreadsheet. And what we're going to do then is we're going to first of all delete all of this information because we don't want this, including the IDs. And the flag path we're just going to paste here. Of course it didn't. Okay, so we're going to copy these. Doesn't ever want to do it. Doesn't ever want to work. Copy these. Right click, copy. Okay, let's try it again. flag path, paste values. All right, so now we have the flag paths um, in this file. So we are then going to come back here, not to this one, to this one, because we have our new names of the countries. And we're going to copy these. A lot of copy paste. So we're going to copy these. Okay. Copy. We're going to then go back into country. And then we are going to paste the country IDs. We are going to, ID is going to start at 1. And we're just going to copy these down. But we are going to fill the series. Okay. Let's see what log ID is. Log ID is 0. So we're going to just hit 0. Oh, yes, because the log ID is the dives that are associated with that specific country. So right now we don't have any countries associated with anything. So we're going to copy that down at 0. GMT, and if you go back into Diving Log 6.0, let's go back into Diving Log 6.0. Okay, so we're going to go back into Diving Log 6.0. And we are going to look at countries again. All right, so country details. We have GMC or GMT difference. So what I don't like about this is there could be different time zones, right? In Mexico, or in the United States, we have like, what is it, like 8 different time zones or whatever. So how can we have one specific time zone for each, if you put Alaska in there, but you're diving in New York, do you have to add United States again as another country? I don't like that. So if anybody out there from Diving Log 6.0 is listening, maybe we can switch this over, GMT, switch it over to the cities, or change it somehow, some way. I don't understand really why this is here. It should be in cities. I think that's just my opinion. We also have the exchange rate. We're going to change the exchange rate as well. So here, the dive ID would be associated with however many dives it would be associated with that country. So, okay, I just wanted to explain that. So now we can shut Diving Log 6.0 again. And then we can go back here into Excel. So GMT, we can just leave blank for now. Currency, what we're going to do now is we are going to ask ChatGPT the specific currency that each country is associated with. So we're going to go back into ChatGPT. Okay, so now we are going to give me a list of currencies associated with each country, period. Format it like quote unquote USD for US dollar, and put them in the same order as our batches. All right, so batch 1, Andorra to Fiji. So we have the currencies here: Andorra to Fiji, Antarctica, Okay, so um, if there is no official currency, then use USD. Or, you can use Great British Pound or whatever, German franc or euro or whatever country that you're in. Use that country's currency because it's basically just a reference, so we don't really need it, but it's always good to have. So if there is no official currency, then use USD. Um, period. Repopulate the list based on this. Okay, so here's a revised currency batch 1. So we want to copy this. And then we want to go back to Excel. And there's a couple things we want to do in Excel. No, I don't want that. I want Excel. Where's Excel? Okay, I already have one here, USD conversion. So what I want to do is I want to make a formula that converts USD, the currency, to whatever currency is used in that specific country. So we are going to, in the first row, we are going to use, so we copied this, Control V. Okay. No, I don't want that. We want to, why is it doing that? I don't want it in the same. I do not want it in the same paste special. There we go. Okay, so we have this right here. This is our first batch. And so what we want to do now with this is we want to convert it right here where it says currencies. And so I want to convert my US dollars to euros and have everything else converted, right? So what I want to do in this first one, I want to go something like USD slash quote and okay, see, this is what I did wrong. Equals USD and USD slash and that. This should be in quotation marks. There we go. So we have that USD slash euro, which is the syntax that we need for this currency. So if we hit currency. Okay, so the reason why it's doing it now is because it can't be a data. It has to be plain text, right? So what we want to do is we want to copy this all the way down, which is data. So this is data. And then we want to basically just copy it. So we have copy, and then we want to paste it just in the next one over, and we want to paste it as a value because it's not a value in here, it's data because it's a formula really. So this is a formula, so we're going to escape. This is a formula, USD slash A1, and then this is text. So now what we can do is we can go over to currency, and then it's going to pop up this little data thing right here. And what we can do here is insert data, and then we want the price. And so right now, US dollar to euro is 0.87. Okay, so now what we can do is Okay. Select all currencies. Okay. And I don't want this. So I'm going to go back, back. Select this all. Currencies. Okay, because USD doesn't, USD and USD. So wherever there's USD to USD, it's not going to do anything. So, okay. So now what we can do is we can just copy this down, and it's going to give us the conversion. So we have all these USD to whatever country conversion we have, and that's going to be for the first batch. And then we can also here we can also add, we can show the name of it too. We can show pretty much whatever you want. Last trade time, that's kind of important, because this I'm going to delete. I don't want that. So last trade time is important because you want to know when it's been updated. So we can copy that down too. Okay, so now we did batch one. I don't know how many batches there's going to be, but we want to basically redo that for everything. So go back into ChatGPT. Not that ChatGPT, different ChatGPT. Okay, give me batch two. Okay, the Falkland Islands to Mozambique. Copy. We're going to paste this here. Okay. And then we're just going to do the same thing that we did. We're going to do there we go. But we want to remember now, we want to fill formatting only. I know. Okay, here's why. So we need to copy this over first. So remember, we do this. Copy, paste, formula, or values rather. And then we are going to escape. Then we have that selected, and we're going to hit currencies. Okay, Green Impact Partners. Why is that up there again? Okay. Did it again. Why did I do that? I don't want that. Okay, well, let's do this. We're going to copy this down. And then we're going to copy this down too. And then we're going to go back to ChatGPT. And then we're going to go, give me batch 3. Okay. Namibia to Zimbabwe. So we're going to copy that. And we're going to just paste that. We're going to do the same thing. So there's 3 batches. So paste. Then we're going to go copy that down. Then we're going to copy this. Paste it into here. Copy, paste the values. And then we are going to escape. I'm just going to select it again because I just want to get a new selection. We're going to go to currencies. Okay, and then we're going to copy this down. And then we're going to copy this down. Okay, so we should have them all. Let's just check it to make sure. I'm going to expand this because I don't know why it is giving me this. And I don't want that. I do not want that. So we're going to go into data. Change. Data type. All right, well. For USD, I am going to just put 1. So control. Well, we're going to copy this. Control H. Find. Control V. Replace with 1. All right, so we can do it manually. And this we could just leave blank. We don't have to do anything with that. So 1. Field. 1. Backspace. 1. Backspace. 1. Backspace. 1. Backspace. 1. Backspace. Yep, and you just keep on doing this until you get tired. Go on a scuba dive or whatnot. And then you come back and you do Excel. And then 1, backspace, backspace. Okay, so I think we got it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of these values. So we got 254. We're on row 254. So we have all of the currencies. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these. Copy. And then we're going to go back into our other Excel spreadsheet. And then paste for currency. And then the currency factor, we're going to go back to the other Excel spreadsheet. And then we are going to do that. And remember, this is just a reference. This isn't set in stone. I did want to do something with this. USD CGS. We're just going to put that value to 1 as well because I don't know what that is. Just remember 120. We're going to go back to 120 and we're going to look that up. So, and we're going to do it manually. So we're going to just take this currency factor, copy that, go back to the other Excel spreadsheet, paste the currency factor. We're going to paste the value, paste value of the currency factor. Okay, so we have that. Now what we want to do is, I don't know anything about these countries, right? I have no idea about any of these countries, but ChatGPT, I think, knows a little bit about these countries. And so what I want to do now is I want to add a comment section, and I want ChatGPT to give me some information about the diving in this specific countries, or in these specific countries. So I'm going to kindly ask ChatGPT, okay, in the same order, please provide me one uh, one sentence, 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 sentence. ChatGPT knows what I'm talking about. How do you spell sentence? There we go. Whatever. Please provide me one sentence about the diving in each of the countries listed in the list. Use the same order. Go in batches if necessary. And I can't spell. I cannot spell. This is what happens when you don't write a lot. Go in batches if necessary. Period. Enter. Okay. So here we have some information. And if that's enough for you, that's fine. We're just going to do this right now because in the interest of just saving time or whatnot. And really, I just want 1 or 2 sentences because half of these countries I'm probably not ever going to go to. But it's always nice to have some information about the diving in each state or in each country. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go back here into country, and I'm going to insert these into our country spot. And that's pretty much it. Rinse and repeat. So go back here. Okay. Next batch. the Falkland Islands for kelp forest. Okay. All right. So once that's done, we copy, and it might take a little bit of time because it's probably populating a list. Okay. So copy. And then we're going to go back into our Excel spreadsheet, and then we're going to go from the Falkland Islands, right there, paste. And then the next one should be Namibia. So we're going to go back to ChatGPT, ask it for batch number 3. Okay, batch 3. Okay. We're going to copy this when it's done again. We go back to Excel, and we're going to paste. Okay, I think that's it. And you just want to make sure that they're going to be in the order that they're presented, because sometimes, for some reason, if one of them is off, it throws everything off. So you just want to make sure that it goes, the last one is Zimbabwe, like the batches that you're doing, like the first one's going to be Namibia, the last one here is Mozambique, the Falkland Islands to Mozambique. You just want to make sure that they're going to be in order. And also, you want to make sure that the right file path is associated with them, the right currency is associated with them, or whatnot. And so we have this. That's all the information that I want in this specific. Oh, I want to do updated because we're going to update this today. UUID, so it goes comment, then UUID. We're going to click that. UUID. There's nothing in UUID because that's populated once we import it into the Diving Log 6.0. So updated, I want to put today's date, which is 7/31/26. Okay, and I just want to copy that all the way down because that's the last time we updated it. Except now here, I just want to copy. I want to copy cells instead of filling the cells. So 7/31/2026, that's the last time we updated any of this stuff. Okay, so now we have all of this. And what I want to do now is I want to get rid of this because I don't need that. Delete that. Yes. And then I want to change this to just country 1 or just regular country. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to save this. Well, it's already saved. If you haven't already saved it, save it. Okay, because this is going to be the file that we're going to import into our database. So we're going to go back here. We're going to X that. I don't need. We're going to go back into Microsoft Access. We're going to close it. What we're going to do now is open this back up. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to have to delete all these records. So select them. Select them. Right. Oh, come on. There we go. Delete record. Yes. So we're not going to have any countries in there at all whatsoever. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we are going to add a new data source from file, from Excel. And then we're going to browse here. And we are going to look for the country.xls. Open that. The file is in use. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's closed. So we're going to close it. I'm just going to close this book too. Don't save. Okay, so now we're going to open that. Import the source data into new table. No. So we want to append a copy of records to the table. Then we want to go into country. Hit OK. Is currently open, must be closed before close the table. Yes. Okay. All right. So now we're just going to go through and it's going to import the information, finish, close. And then we're going to open up country again, and voila. We have all of our countries, and we're going to have our flag paths, comments, and everything like that when they were updated, uh, and the currency factor, whatnot. This is automatically saved. So what I want to do now is I want to open up Diving Log 6.0 just to verify that all of the countries came in okay. Um, and so got Diving Log 6.0 opened up. Then we go into details, countries, and voila. So we have all of our countries. And look, it even added a little, like one of those little circle things on top of the A. And what was the country that we were doing? What was it called again? Let's just find it really quick. As soon as I can. It's like Saint Pierre or something like that. A little shipwreck thing on there. Shipwreck. I'm looking for a shipwreck. And he did. There it is. Saint Pierre and Miquelon. Okay. And what's good about this is that they're all in alphabetical order, so we just go down to S. Saint Pierre and Miquelon. There it is. Look at that. It's got the currency. It's got the exchange rate, GMT difference. Again, that's going to just depend. I don't put any information there. Comments. Saint Pierre and Monique Mokanalan. I don't know. Whatever. Saint Pierre offers cold North Atlantic diving with marine wildlife and wrecks. Well, all right then. Um, Not very much information, but if we wanted to, I guess we can go into ChatGPT and ask for some more information. Let's see. Do you think you could give more information on the diving in each country? Please provide a few sentences. Sentences. I got it that time. Please provide a few sentences on each country. If there isn't much diving available, then just say that and move on. You don't have to provide information if there isn't any, but I want a record of it. Just 3 to 4 sentences, depending. Okay, and please use batches and go in order. Period. Okay, so let's see what it gives us. Okay, so it just gives us a okay. Give me something to copy and paste. All right, so Andorra to Fiji. So we're just going to do this. It's going to be a little bit of time. I'm just going to do this again just to reiterate just the process of it. So we're going to copy this, and while I copied it, I'm just going to go, okay, do batch 2 now. And then it's going to do that, and then while it's doing that, I'm going to close this down. I'm going to open up Excel again. Excel. I'm going to go to country, and then I'm going to paste. And then I'm going to go down here just to make sure. And it didn't do it, so we're going to go back. Okay, so we're going to not start over, but each sentence is um, its own entry, I think. So it's skipping an entry, I believe, in Access. Um, so I'm going to ask it for a spreadsheet. So please give me a spreadsheet, an Excel instead, with all 254 countries. I don't want the columns, I just want the comments. But whatever. Best approach is to generate the workbook using verified information for each country and territory. Okay, so do that. Let's see what it does. It's sometimes slow, ChatGPT. I've noticed that. But you got to remember that it's kind of getting information from, like, it's searching the entire web for all this information, so it can take some time. Um, depending on how many sources are available. I know if it just, the thing with this AI and like all these GPTs and stuff like that is the amount of sources that it has to go through is usually, it'll usually take longer if it's got to read through a lot of sources. So if you just have one source on your AI, so say you're just sourcing one website, then it's just going to go through that one website and it's going to take much less of time. But since this is scouring the entire internet, that's why it takes a while. So I don't want to wait that much longer, but you get the drift of it. I mean, we did some stuff today. We kind of generated um, that entire diving countries list, and you can kind of do that with other tables within Diving Log 6.0. And so, I'm just going to open this up and kind of mess around with it a little bit. So. Um, I will say, though, if you already have logs in here, then you might have to go in. Oh, so no, you don't have to. So it already recognized that United States is that. So you don't have to change anything like that. It already pointed to the United States because you already had United States written in there. So you should be good there. But if for some reason you might want to go through your logs, no, United States. You might want to go through and just to verify that they are still, active United States. And if you have a lot of dives, then it's not really necessary. Maybe go through a couple of them, get like a sample of your data, and just go through a couple of them just to make sure that the country is, the right country. But you can do this, if you have if you have dive sites or whatever, if you have city islands, like if you have a database of these specific things that you kind of want to introduce into your diving log, that's one way to do it. And so I just want to go in here again, go to countries, and you can edit this through here. It's going to be much easier. Um, so that one thing that we had, like it even gave you Antarctica, exchange rate $1, which isn't the case, but it's just a good reference. Some of these could be accurate. So if you're going to a specific country, say you're going to Barbados or whatever, right? And you have this in your dive log, you might want to then just verify that information is correct. And if it's not correct, then go in there and fix it. So say they don't use the BBD, say they use the US dollar, you can come in here and edit it. You could just put in US dollar one. So use it as a reference. Don't use it as like a definite kind of thing. So that being said, what was that country? I don't think I had it in there. That KD something. I don't know. I'm gonna go in there and fix that KD, that currency deal that we had in there before. But that's kind of the process of how you do it, and I think it could be helpful, in saving time because you don't want to be on your dive, like, and then have to like log in all this information about your dive country and then look up a flag or whatever. It's just so much easier. But then you can come in here, and if you have more comments to add about a specific country, you can add comments as you see fit. If you have a dive on that country, you can kind of just do it that way. And then one thing I also want to mention is if you come in here in your statistics, um, and there is a thing for country in your statistics somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe not. Maybe it's not in here. I don't know. I thought there was. I guess not. But that is something if you are into like uh, visualizations and stuff like that. There's other ways that you can kind of extract the data and the information and stuff like that that you need to. But other than that, I mean, I kind of hope this helped. And I'm sorry that I wasn't really maybe had trouble following me or whatnot because I was kind of all over the place. But it is an iterative process, like I said before, and so it's kind of trial and error. Seeing what you have and what you don't have, or if you have a lot of errors, then you just kind of have to go through and figure out how to fix it. Um, and I think I think it's a good useful tool to have. Um, you know. But that being said, that's it for I didn't do a live. I'm uploading this into YouTube or whatnot. But please like and subscribe. Whatever platform you're on. If you have Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, Instagram. I'm on Instagram kind of often. I do photography on the side. I do a lot of wildlife photography. I'm trying to get more into the underwater photography, but it's expensive. So, um, but please like and follow me for more, I guess, tips and tricks or whatever. Uh, yeah, and that's it. All right, so let's end this thing right here.